Calling all seniors. We are now accepting photos and videos for this year's senior video. Each senior is encouraged to upload using the Google form linked below. We're hoping to get photos and videos of our senior class from kindergarten to this school year. Reach out to Haley Brown, Hannah Lonergan, or Mr. Chambers with any questions.
In this week's edition of YTV, I recap the speech team season over a virtual setting, while Hannah Lonergan covers a recent collaboration between the Elmhurst Art Museum and York's Black Student Union. Then, a quick PSA regarding the senior video. But first, some announcements.
Good morning, I'm Hannah Lonergan for YTV. As we continue to celebrate Women's History Month, Empower reminds us that in 1869, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony organized the National Women's Suffrage Association to fight for women's rights, especially the right to vote. More than a century later, Anthony was honored when the U.S. Mint created a coin using her image. Thank you, Empower, and women everywhere for the continued fight towards equality. Congratulations to the York bowling team. Varsity just finished their season undefeated as conference champions for the second year in a row. Congratulations to senior Holly Santucci, who is the back-to-back conference champion as well. The JV team just finished their fifth season undefeated and are also conference champions. The varsity will continue to the virtual conference tournament on Wednesday and virtual state on Saturday. Congratulations, ladies, and good luck. Attention all girls soccer players. April 5th is right around the corner. Registration is now open for the upcoming girls soccer season. Please go to the girls soccer website for updated information on the upcoming season or email Coach Dobrik for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Hannah. York Psychology Club will be starting up on Monday, March 15th. Join us each week as we learn about how we think and act and find ways to improve our well-being and help York students do the same. Please email Ms. Turnbull to join the Google Classroom and get the Zoom link. Hope to see you there. Do you want to help the York community next year? The application for ambassadors is now available until Friday, March 26th. Find the application on the ambassadors webpage under Clubs and Activities on the York homepage. Applications are only online and remain available until Friday, March 26th at 3 p.m. The application period only happens once a year. Ambassadors help at all school events, help new transfer students, and host 8th grade private school shadow students. Questions? Email counselors Ms. Delask or Mrs. Julian. Now on to Hannah's coverage of the Black Student Union's recent involvement with the Elmhurst Art Museum.
March 4th marked the opening of the Elmhurst Art Museum's new exhibition, In Focus, The Chicago Freedom Movement and the Fight for Fair Housing, which features photographs taken by Bernard Kleine over the course of the Chicago Freedom Movement in the 60s. Also in the exhibition is artwork created by York's Black Student Union and Allies and the museum's Teen Art Council.
So the exhibit that we're opening on March 4th really starts with the Chicago Freedom Movement as a jumping off point. And photography is kind of this through line or a way to kind of tell that story and how it's relevant today as well. So 2/3 of the galleries essentially will be historic photographs of Chicago Freedom Movement and various protests that happened in the 60s. And what we're doing with the collaboration between the Design Museum of Chicago, the Teen Art Council, and York High School's Black Student Union is really taking those same concepts and translating them to how they are relevant today.
Black Student Union and Allies and the Teen Art Council teamed up to create collages out of photographs taken around their own homes, inspired by a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., who was one of the primary leaders of the Chicago Freedom Movement.
After reading the MLK quote, the first thing that came to my mind was togetherness, the amount of power that we have as a whole. But within that whole, there's individuality that strengthens that power. That's what I wanted to express in my collage. Each piece that went into my project had its own purpose and its own sense of power. But after piecing it all together, it created one purpose and one message: determination and truth. Behind every individual, there's an unspoken truth. And behind every unit, there's focus and determination that can overcome any obstacle.
17 York students have work on display in the exhibition, which will be in the museum through June 20th. For more information, visit elmhurstartmuseum.org. This is Hannah Lonergan for YTV.
And don't forget, the exhibit will be open through June, so make sure to check it out. Next up, Mustafa covers the end of the award-winning speech season and the incredible year the team had despite social distancing regulations.
We need to explore why people avoid taking chances and how we, as youth, can develop a smarter relationship
With the state series for York's speech team finally over 2 weeks ago, the speech season has ended on a high note, with 4th place in the state and a bright future ahead of them. While their season started off with getting used to a virtual format, students and coaches were able to adapt well to an online setting and persevere throughout the year.
The whole thing was figuring out this whole virtual thing, and thanks to SpeechWire, which made it possible for us to even have a speech season. So all of our practices were virtual. Our team meetings were virtual because we have so many students on the team, somewhere between 60 to 65 students, so there's no way we could bring everybody in. So we just did virtual team meetings. Kids bought in, really excited about being able to do something, amidst the pandemic.
And excited they were. Senior Except and impromptu state champ James Golan reflects on the opportunity to even have a season this year.
In a word, spectacular. In 2 words, absolutely spectacular. It is very nice to have an opportunity to get out and do activities despite the pandemic, even if it's not in the capacity we would have had before. It's nice to have that sense of community, something to do on the weekends, that sort of thing. It's been a blessing.
Senior speech team captain Anna Collins congratulates the novices this year, who had unprecedented success despite adapting to the challenges of a remote setting.
I'm really proud of our novice team. They went completely undefeated this year. I'm so happy for them, especially because they're the people that are going to carry this team forward when I'm gone, because I'm a senior.
Looking forward to the future, many speech members are confident that York will only continue to prevail in the years to come.
The York speech team is a force to be reckoned with. We are only getting better every year, and I cannot wait for the milestones that we'll achieve in the future.
That'll be all for this week's edition of This is York. I'm Mustafa Velika.
And I'm Hannah. Have a great weekend, Dukes.